So before I start, I would like to say thank you to the planning committee, to all the board members of the Vedic Temple of Atlanta to give me this chance, and especially Gangaji, Vishwaji, Chanduraji, Dr. Arora. So even before I start giving the answer of this question, I would like to say the congregation of Aryas is the only place where such kind of discussion can happen. And it gives ample amount of opportunity to every person to know what Vedic concepts are. Not only this, it gives us opportunity to understand all the religions which are prevalent in the society or planet Earth. So I am going to start, but I will say all of you close your eyes and let's recite Om 3 times. With a deep breath, very calm mind, because the subject is very spiritual. Okay. Close your eyes. So you can open your eyes. So the concept of God in Hinduism. The concept of God in Hinduism is very close to what we have in quantum theory nowadays. As per Vedas, the God is formless, which means the God exists everywhere. If you see the universe, the beautiful photo which I always refer, that painting on the back, if you see it has a solar system, multiple universe, lot of things in that, right? So for a second, if you imagine, if the God has a form, or God is in a particular shape, or let's say the God is sitting on the 7th sky, 10th sky, or 36th chamber, can you imagine God can perform all the things at the same time? Is it possible for someone to have a form, but at the same time perform the bodily functions of an alien who is living 150,000 light years away from planet Earth? Is it possible? For a second, if I consider yes, it is possible, and someone is sitting in deep meditation, how is it possible? The person has to spread himself or herself or itself across the boundaries of the universe in order to manage the functions which are going inside different multiple universe, or inside the bodies of the aliens who are in different planets. Forget about the different universe. Forget about different aliens or different planets. Think about planet Earth. Suppose if the consciousness is not inside everything, how can he, she or it manage the functions of the cell? Coming into the cell of the human body, inside the cell there are machines, small machines, which makes amino acids, and they take it, the protein is taken to a particular location inside the body. Can you imagine the human body with millions of machines? Can a God one by one in the form go and touch that particular machine inside the cell and move the protein into a particular place? No, that's not possible. So as per Vedas, the God is completely formless, because if we consider that God is at the 7th sky or sitting somewhere, generally what happens, what we say, oh, God will take care. Everyone looks somewhere like God will take care, which means you are thinking that God has a form. It doesn't mean to have a physical bodily form. Even if you consider it's an energy which is situated somewhere else, what we are trying to say? That energy also has some kind of form. So remember, form doesn't mean a fixed form. A form can be flexible, which means, have you ever seen jelly? Jelly. So what happens if you drop a jelly, or if you put a motion inside a jelly? It will just keep changing, like different ways, right? But still that jelly has a form. So if I say that God is sitting at the seventh sky, God is there, and I am saying no, it is formless, don't you think it's a contradictory approach? Because we are talking about something located at some place, but in a different flexible form. So this is very scientific approach in the Vedic philosophy, where Vedas clearly says that God is consciousness which is spread across the universe. And that is why the sun is at its own place, the planet Earth is at its own place. There is a force of gravity, force equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. We all might have learned in physics. How many of you remember this equation? Very good. So what does it say? The force between two objects with mass m1 and m2, right, multiplied by gravitational constants, inverse of the square, that is radius of the distance between them. I remember 15-20 years back somehow. So the concept is very simple. In the beginning, because the topic I think Mr. Ganga has brought is how the universe is created, and I don't know a lot of questions which he is going to put front. So first is the God is almighty consciousness spread across the universe, managing all the multiple universe, planets, sun, stars, everything at its own place. Because he, she or it. Why I am saying he, she or it? Because when the God doesn't have form, how can I say he or she, right? I don't know, it's an object. The best I can describe God is, do you know energy? Energy equal to mass mc square. So consider without mass, energy without mass is supreme psychic consciousness, or what we call pure consciousness, bliss spread across the universe. Now the Vedic God has four properties. All of us must remember these four properties. You don't have to go into Vedas, read each and every line, imbibe everything into you. If we remember these properties, I think we can answer most of the questions related to Vedas. First property is of omnipotent. Omnipotent, can anyone tell me what omnipotent means? Omnipotent? All powerful. All powerful. All powerful means, so these are very important concepts, because when you discuss these things with anyone of any religion, any field, these four are the basic criteria which supersedes any logic and reasoning. Okay? Omnipotent means God is all powerful, which means God will not send angels, right? God is not going to send some incarnation or some person to help us, all of us. Imagine the God which is everywhere, spread across the universe. At the same time, He is inside me and you also, right? So when He is inside me, why He is going to send some other person? It will prove if some other angel, prophet, or a person comes to help us, it means the God is not powerful, right? Right? Does it make sense? Because He is all powerful and He is already residing inside my heart, inside all of us, such almighty God can easily, within a click, can kill any bad, evil person. Example, Ravana, right? If God is all powerful and He is already inside Ravana, why He will send someone? He could have within a click killed Ravana, right? So God doesn't do all these things, and we will learn in the next session what is the function of God. So first thing, omnipotent. So God is omnipotent. No helping hand is required. Because any helping hand, if it is required, it means God is not omnipotent, right? Coming to the second property of God, omniscient. What does omniscient mean? Yeah, all-knowing, right? Omniscient means all-knowing. Means He has the complete knowledge of creation, how atom is created, and I will show you some videos where you will like how the creation happened. How the atom is created. What is inside atom? Can anyone tell me? Quarks. Proton, electron, neutrons. Inside them are quarks, and further we have leptons, gravitons. So we will not go into quantum mechanics. So It is the God who knows how to create this universe out of those small particles, minute particles, right? So that kind of knowledge no one has. So that is why he is omniscient, because he is present across universe, across all human beings, all species. That's why he knows what is going inside every one of us at every point of time. Because a knowledge which resides everywhere at every point of time can only understand everything at any point of time, right? So omnipotent, second one, omniscient, third one, omnipresent. So I think I already explained omnipresent. Omnipresent means something which is present everywhere, right? So someone asked me long back, do you think in all the dirty things, like even if you go out and you see some dirty stuff lying on the ground, God is there? Yeah, God is there. So God is inside each and everything. But those things are not conscious, right? If you see this chair, this mic, God is inside this. But it is not conscious. It is not living. It is not non-living, right? But God is present everywhere. So three properties: omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. What is the fourth one? Can anyone tell me? Very important. Fourth one. No, three we have already done. Fourth one, I think we have learned this in Satyat Prakash, the light of truth. Fourth property. Fourth important property of God. There is a question in Satyat Prakash and it has 5 properties. So fourth property. We already covered that. That is omnipresent. Okay, the God is just. So the Vedic God is really true God, if you ask me. Just in the sense, suppose I go to, let's say, some temple and I say to the priest, oh holy priest, please, I have committed 10 sins today, I have killed multiple people, please forgive me. And he says, okay, child, you are forgiven. What does it mean? We are allowing the society to do more crime, right? Such kind of God cannot be just. Because what happened just now? If God forgives you after committing sin or a crime, right? He has forgiven this person, but what happened to other people who got suffered because of that person? Moreover, yes. So moreover, God has not done justice to the person who has killed 20 people, because he has opened the door or opportunity for that person to do more killing, right? So such a God becomes unjust, right? So what does the Vedic God do? He has created a system of pure just and kindness. Now someone will ask me, this is not kindness. Actually this is kindness, because by putting that person or giving that person a punishment for what he has committed, God is preventing the person to create further crime, at the same time helping those 20 people whose family got suffered because of that person, right? So in that way, there is always a balance which we call law of karma. As you sow, so you reap. That is the true, just and kindness of God. And the fifth one is pure bliss. So these are the 5 points which Vedic God has. And that's it. And if you consider any religious scripture, if you put these 5 as a base, and you start reading, let's say, Holy Quran, or you read Holy Bible, or you read Jain Avesta, or you read any other book, put these 5 principles and start reading one by one. You will find, okay, this is true, this line is true, this line is false, this line is true, this line is false. So this forms the base of the Vedic God. Now, Vedic God creates this universe out of what? Out of? How this universe is created? Anyone, please answer. Out of? Prakriti. Very good answer. So, Vedic God create this universe out of Prakriti, which is matter. It is not the matter that the science is looking nowadays. They have reached into Higgs boson and all that. But it is a primordial form of matter, which Vedic God utilizes and transforms into this big multiple universe. What is the third one? Third entity? Soul. Very good. So the soul is the third entity in the Vedic concept. Vedic God create this universe so that soul can bear the fruits of their action. So I think I replied to question number 1, Mr. Ganga.
That is true. Sorry. That is true. I think most we covered that answer very nicely. Thank you. But I still have a question for you. That is, and it seems that God is not powerful, right? You have mentioned that in a very nice way, and he cannot create matters in the universe. That you mentioned that God creates the universe by using matter, but how could he create matter?
So this is a very good point. He is questioning and he is challenging that why the God is not all powerful. Just now I said God is all powerful, but Mr. Ganga is saying no, God is not all powerful because he cannot create matter, right? That's what he said. Okay. So let's try to understand again what is omnipotent means, all powerful means. All powerful means the God is capable of doing almost anything by himself, herself or itself. It doesn't mean God is going to create another God, because if he creates another God, then he is not all powerful. The question was why the God cannot create matter. This is the beauty of conglomeration of Aryas, where scholars listen to scholars with no issues. I will put this question across all the Aryas sitting here. Why God cannot create matter?
Because he is within.
But still, why he cannot create matter?
He is within matter. You don't have to create matter. He is from the smallest particle of matter to the largest particle of matter.
Okay.
You don't have to create matter. He is within.
Okay.
He's a part of matter.
Very good. Anyone else?
Your question is putting a limit on God, just like he said. He is still putting a limit. We are not supposed to put any limit on God. So he should be able to create matter. And that's his question.
Yes, he should be able to create matter. So can anyone want to take?
There is no limit in God.
But
so he should be able to create matter.
Very good. Anyone want to give the answer?
There is no need to create because it's eternal.
It is eternal, but why it is eternal? That's his question. Like why God cannot create matter?
See, matter is created
Because he's a
from
part of
the-
matter. We don't have to create matter. He is a
matter-
part of matter.
Okay.
He's within.
But the most important thing here is, see,
Yes,
one of the things,
it's
anytime
more
when we look at these concepts around God, matter, basically, essentially looking at what is material, what is spiritual, it's all the same thing. It's all about conversion. Okay? So anytime even when you brought up essentially this basic concept around E is equal to mc squared.
Right.
There's a formula around it,
Right.
right? But if you think about it, that's conversion from one form to another.
Right.
So what we're talking about is really the conversion of that form, however you want to define it. Because it's just that we don't have a formula for it yet. So that's why we as essentially, either when you look at scientists, you look at spiritual folks, we as Aryas, we struggle with that concept primarily because of that. Because we don't really have a formula to define it.
Great.
But ultimately, it's all just conversion of whether you look at energy, whether you look at consciousness, how you want it.
Excellent. So you all have given different views. Now let me try to give another perspective and just have a thought about it. My first question, if God has to create matter, I am replying to Mr. Ganga and you all can help me out. If God has to create matter, from where he is going to create matter? There should be something pre-existing. Right? You cannot create anything out of a magic, because the properties of matter, that is the primordial matter, is different from the properties of God. God is pure consciousness. God is pure bliss. Right? God doesn't have a space for error, dirt, inertness. God is all living. It's truth. Right? So anything coming out of God, first is nothing can come out of God, because we know God is everywhere, right? So even if I consider that something comes out of God, right, it should be pure consciousness. Do you agree?
Yes.
From consciousness can only come out, right?
You are still putting a limit on God. that he only has consciousness, he doesn't have anything. That's his question.
Yes, so that's what I am saying. So from consciousness, consciousness can come out. In order to bring inert, how can God bring something which is inert, which is not the property of God?
Why can't he? He can.
So yes, that's what I'm saying. So if he has to bring something inert, then that thing should pre-exist.
No.
Yes.
God is God.
No.
He can create everything.
So can God create God like him? God like him? Can God create God like him?
Yes, but we don't
If God create matter, God can create another God. So what they are saying that matter, God creates matter, he can never create matter.
Right.
God is within matter.
Yes.
And he cannot create another God because he's not matter. He's within.
He will not create another God,
Yes.
because if he creates another God,
He will be matter.
he will be dependent on the other God for functions.
Exactly.
Right. So his property of omnipotent is decreased. It violates his basic property. So initially we said God is pure bliss, the 5 basic properties which we have learned in Vedas. Now if we consider he creates matter, primordial matter, either the matter should pre-exist or from somewhere the God should create the matter. Both the points itself prove that matter was already existing. If he creates the new matter, it should come out from somewhere, pre-existing matter, right? If he creates something out of him, then it should be same properties as God. But in matter, if you read Satyat Prakash or Vedas, it clearly says the matter is inert, but God is not inert, which totally proves that there is another entity which exists, which is matter. And we see in today's world, this matter which you see, it doesn't do things by itself. If I put this diya here and I think it should become a horse, it will never become a horse because it's a matter, right? Which is inert, which is not the property of omnipotent, omniscient and omnipresent God. So think about this, how can God create matter? As per Vedas, matter is eternal entity. God never creates matter. Matter, after the complete destruction of the universe, the matter goes into the primordial form, which means very subtle vibrations. God again utilizes those vibrations and creates this whole matter because the knowledge of creation exists inside, the knowledge of creation exists in God. This is the second question.
Thank you. That makes sense. But I have one more doubt here, that is, why can't he create soul then?
Okay. So
same answer. It's eternal.
I think, so why? So it's like our Holy Trinity is challenged in a very forceful way. So let's try to answer this. So why God cannot create soul? I think one of us should answer this.
See, the answer for this last question and this question is the same. Like soul, material and God, all three are the eternal.
Yes, but he is challenging why
Why
God
the
cannot
God-
create matter or soul.
Same the question, the answer is the same for both of these things because these are internal. Nobody can create each other. They are eternal.
Okay. Anyone else or?
You already answered that question because if he is going to create, he should have the same properties.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good. So coming back to your question, what have we observed as a soul? What we all are soul. We know that, right? Inside our bodies. Every day we commit sin, good emotions, feelings, hatred, love, empathy, killing. All these things are done by soul across the world. Now, if you consider these attributes of soul, they nowhere match with the attribute of God. Now there should be something which is different from bliss, that is God. Because as I explained in the beginning, God is pure bliss. There is no chance of inertness. There is no chance of making error, right? If God makes error, then can we consider in God?
No.
If God makes someone happy and someone cry, will you consider that God? No, right? If God commits error, mistakes and all this, such entity cannot be considered as God. So clearly we see that there are two entities at this point. One is God and the other one is soul, right? Moreover, when God is in everything and inside across all universe, you cannot fragment God. So I remember one very intelligent person of Advaita. He's after me from last many years. Continuously, every time he calls, he think about these questions and answers because he has one of my book, and he says, no, we all are Ansh. I think they call everyone Ansh, means part of God. Every time I ask that person, when God is in everything, how can God be in parts? Right? Yeah. So when God is everywhere, inside and outside, how can we even consider God as in parts, small inside the body? Right? So this proves that soul and God are again two separate entities. So what we have now? Three eternal entities. One is God, the other one is primordial matter. It's not the matter that we see, it's a primordial matter. Third one is soul. So these three are the basic blocks of creation, which we will discuss in further, how actually God creates the universe by using the primordial matter. And I will show you a couple of videos later on. I think this answers your question.
Thank you. You brought up a very good point that you said God exists everywhere, right? It lies in between all of us. But some of us also think that God is all above the sky, or like up there. And there are huge population, a big number of groups who believe that God resides inside idols and living matter, right? But can we find God in any living matter?
Okay. Again, very good question, and I think Mr. Ganga is challenging some Vedic concepts in a very beautiful way. So coming back to the question, God is inside idols, or God is inside, let's say I consider my pen is God because I feel that God is inside my pen. And I worship my pen because I use it to earn my living. So you tell me, like, there is a Swami Dayananda is standing there, and let me ask you a question. Can I worship Swami Dayananda as God? Why?
I don't like to worship anybody, I just worship God. God means like just
Because he's a human
whatever,
being.
Pardon?
He is a human being.
But in past we have seen some great people who came on earth.
Yes, but they are still human
Sai
beings.
Baba, God.
They are part of matter.
Okay. Question I think is why we cannot worship these people, because bird consider them as God, right? There are different people across the planet, they worship different gods.
Yeah, they are Godheads.
Okay, let me answer this. Consider, if I say Swami Dayananda is there and I consider him as God, do you all agree there is a God inside that painting, Swami Dayananda? We agree? Right?
If we consider that God is everywhere, it means
Yes, God is there. But is my soul there?
No.
No. Right? So there is a form, there is a idol. The God is inside the idol, but my soul is inside me. And we have learned there are two conscious entities in this universe. The first one is soul and second is God. Or first one is God or second is soul. Right? This is the law. Only consciousness can realize consciousness. Only consciousness can realize consciousness. Non-living entity can never realize consciousness. So, the idol or the painting or the statue of Rishi Dayananda, even if God is inside Rishi Dayananda's statue, my soul is not there. So, what is the best place for me to find God? Inside yourself, right? So the best place, because my soul is inside me, and just now we have seen, as per Vedas, the God is formless, who is present, omnipresent. He is inside my soul. Now when both consciousness are residing inside me, why should I go and find somewhere where there is no consciousness? Do we get this concept? Okay. So this is the answer, that God is there in the idols, God is there in the temple, God is everywhere, but your soul is inside your body and the God is inside the soul. So the only temple for human is your human body, where you can find the true consciousness.
Thank you, that makes sense. Just want to divert that conversation to some, I guess, in a different way. We all know that Ram, he took a birth, right, from, we all consider from Lord Vishnu, right? So we know God takes birth, right? We also heard that God sends angels to guide human, or prophets to guide human, right? Those are the myths that we have seen, we probably have felt it. What is your view on that?
Okay, that's a good question. So, 2 points here. The first one is God take birth. Second is God send some great people, great soul who can change the society. Coming back to first question, God takes birth. Now when we have already seen that God is present everywhere, why He will take birth? Because He is omnipotent. If He requires, within a second, He can make the changes. Imagine a power, a cosmic being which creates this universe. Why He is going to send some person to do His work, right? Moreover, if you consider that God has come inside the stomach, inside the womb, and then God is going to take birth, what will happen to the universe? Because now everything is limited inside the mother's womb, and God is inside the womb. He has to, how He is going to operate across the universe? The sun will fall, the moon will fall. You are something which is formless, spread across the universe. Something which is infinite cannot be confined to a limited space. So God does not take birth because He is inside even the mother system. Moreover, He doesn't need a second helping hand. It will violate His property of omnipotent. Those 5 properties cannot be violated, and anything which violates those 5 properties cannot be God.
I have one question.
Yeah.
If God is everywhere, just like Purnamidam, Purnamasya, you take away from that one, still the full remains. So it's like this, the soul comes out, still the God is there. Matter comes out, still the God is there. Because that's what Veda says, Purnamidam, Purnasya, Purnamidam.
Right. So again, a very good point brought by Dr. Chandura. I have written this in, all these questions are in the book, The Cure for God's Epidemic, explained in the same way, and this question is there. So entropy of a system, again, little bit scientific concept. So what happens in the whole universe? The total energy or total, let's say, entropy of the system is always constant. It's not like the energy, if it decreases from here, it will increase on the other side, right? So what he said, if the soul goes out of body, or if the matter is destroyed in this particular place, if you see this particular diya, it's burning, and there is a constant conversion or transformation of energy at this point of time. Matter in one form is transformed into another form, but matter is conserved. It's not like the matter is destroyed. In the whole universe, either we die, our soul goes out, it comes in, matter destroyed somewhere, matter created somewhere. From the universal perspective, it doesn't make any difference. Moreover, it cannot touch God, because everything is going inside that supreme consciousness. Does that make sense?
So mind is too narrow to understand that concept.
Okay.
I guess let me follow up question on that, or that probably will help you. So since we're coming back to university, right?
Yeah.
So I'm again, something is going in my mind that based on that question what you have said. So can you explain me how God creates the universe? I'm really interested to understand that, because the whole flow probably will answer all the questions that we have.
Okay, great. So how much time do we have?
Probably next 5-10 minutes is fine.
Okay, great. Let's come back to the main topic, how the creation happened. And this is very interesting. I want all of you to cooperate with me and think the way ancient sages might have thought. Or what we will do, it is not just a presentation, because Mr. Ganga has totally changed the format. We will try to find out during meditation how these things are realized. It's not like I just present some of the concepts. it will be a little bit practical approach. So for a second, all of you close your eyes and try to create a universe the best you can. Just close your eyes, take 2, 3, 4 minutes, focus, and just think about the universe. Just create how vast you can create. Go ahead, open your eyes. How many of you were able to create some kind of universe or solar system or something? Anyone? What you thought, like, were you able to think about some planets, seeing some planets, like small objects? Were you able to create a star? Right. How many of you were able to do a little bit of it? Raise your hand. Don't feel shy. Just raise your hand. If you are able to even create a single star by closing the eyes in the mind, yes, and that is true. So what happens if you try to understand what I am saying? How the ancient sages arrived to the concept of creation. When you think, all of you, I am sure, should be able to create a universe in your mind when you close your eyes, if you are really focusing. Same thing happens at the time of creation when there is a primordial matter and the universal consciousness is spread across the universe. It shakes the universe. First time that the creation starts. That is the sound of Om. That was heard by the rishis and we all worship that sound. Om, right? So just now, all of you who created the universe, there is something inside your body which is buddhi, mahat. That is the first part of creation, intellect or buddhi. So first what happens, the universal consciousness across the universe makes a grand plan across the universe that all this needs to be created. Exactly the same way two of you, Vishnuji and Mrs. Sharma.
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Mrs. Arora. So two of you just now were able to create because you laid out a grand plan in your mind and your buddhi said, okay, I need this thing across the universe, right? So this is what happened in the beginning. There was a vast field of buddhi, which we call it. Don't consider this as a buddhi, which is inside our body. So there is a M field, which is called Mahat field. What it is? Say Mahat. Mahat field. Intellect. We call it intellect. So never, when I am talking about universe, don't think about the human body. Because how the human body is created, we will do in third lecture. Step-by-step process of creation. How first time the humans were created. That will be in the third lecture. Right now we are in the primordial matter, where across the universe, the whole shape has been given and the God has laid down the grand plan that I need to create these forces, these vibrations and all these things. After this, can you all close your eyes and create a horse in the mind? I think we all can imagine the horse, right? The only difference is we cannot create the horse. We all can imagine the solar system, we can imagine the horse, but we can never create the horse because we don't have that power. Next, what happens? So I will not go into the whole universe. I will take some simple examples. Now in solar system, during creation, after the Mahat field, there is a field, intellect, its field is spread across the universe. And the part of the field is inside our body also. So you might have seen, like when you go back from here, if you go into the temple, there might be food, right? Suddenly, that's very nice food. So what is it? What is it that attracts towards the food? What is it? What it is?
Your sense of smell.
Yes, sense of smell. But What is driving it? There is a mind. Mind suddenly says, ah, delicious paneer is there today. Right? But suddenly a person who might be having some disease, there is a signal which comes from the back and it says, no, don't eat it. What is that?
Consciousness from within.
Yes. Yeah, very good point. Consciousness, but what is connected to the consciousness which says yes and no?
God.
No. So what happens? There is something called buddhi, intellect. Who said it? Yes, buddhi. Right? So this field which is called buddhi is spread across universe is inside all of us, which allows us to make a judgment coming into contact with our soul. Right? So we are at the first level where buddhi is spread across universe. It's one of the field in the universe where the grand plan has been laid out. That okay, just now Vishnuji created universe in the mind. That is buddhi. Now, what he is going to say, I have to create a planet in this place. I have to create this planet in this place. The sun should be positioned in such a way that the gravitation pull from the sun should protect 9 of these planets. So for that, what God do? Again, out of this primordial matter, once buddhi has come out, he invokes another field, which is called ahamkar field or a field. What it is called? Ahamkar, ego. So generally, from body perspective, we say, oh, he has a high ego or a low ego. But from universal perspective, when you see that ahamkar or a field or ego field, it is basically giving the identity to specific objects across the universe. So there are 2 fields now. So God has said, He has thought within across universe, I have to create this. Now what is the specific identity of that particular planet? It is, let's say, Earth. This one is Sun. So there are specific fields around these planets. Those are called Ahamkar field. So when we are reading the Sankhya philosophy, generally if you see till now, whenever I have read across the books, no one has even talked about this. We generally go from buddhi, ahamkar, then we have multiple like jnanendriyas and all these indriyas coming. But actually what are these things which God has utilized in order to create universe? There is a sequence of fields which are coming out of the primordial matter. First one is buddhi, second one is ahamkar, which gives identity to horse. Okay, I have to create this species. So that is the identity of a horse, right? Under these envelopes, the creation starts. Even if you see and you go to YouTube or you go to any documentary on universe, you will find the creation is right now going on. There are solar systems which are coming up. There are solar systems which are dying day in and day out. So the creation is constant. It never stops at any point of time until unless there is a mass destruction. Right? So 2 points we have discussed. Now what will happen? Third, there should be an interconnection between everything. Between the buddhi and between second field. What is the second field?
Mahat.
No, first one is Mahat. Mahat is buddhi. The second field is ahamkar. Right? So consider this all from very scientific angle. We are not talking about individual person here, right? These are the fields spread across universe. After that there is a field which comes out and that is called mind, which modern science has found today that mind connects across the planet. They did an experiment, one person sitting in Florida, the other person sitting in Seattle. Both were able to connect each other through brain waves. Both were able to communicate each other. They have done multiple experiments. So, a field which comes out across universe, which connects ahamkar and buddhi is the mind field. And what we will do, we will stop here for the time being. In the next presentation, we will go into the mind field and see how the mind works. We will learn how the karma actually works. And this thing has not been explained anywhere so far. It is the analysis or the thinking which has been done considering quantum mechanics, quantum physics in mind. And this explanation actually matches with the modern research. One day might be modern research will go and say the Sankhya Darshan is the true methodology of creation and it explains the string theory. So what I am trying to say, by the time we complete 3 sessions, we will know the unified theory of Vedic creation. With that, I say thank you to all of you. Namaste.